Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
And so right now, what I've got on your screen is the top 10 cryptos by market cap throughout the stable coins, Tether and USDC, and you can see that the charts look almost exactly the damn same. This is an immature market. Markets move in tandem all the damn time. Not always down to the second, the minute, the day, the week, so on and so forth, but yes they do. And especially if you zoom out on a chart, you can see it with your own human eyes. As I record this, XRP is at 72 cents. Bitcoin's at $39,491. Market cap for the asset class, $1.78 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 41.93%. Here's the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. It doesn't update again for another 2.5 hours. I suspect it'll be a bit lower, but right now it's at 33 out of 100, indicating even without the most recent drop, the market is definitely in fear. So, look, many notable individuals with successful careers in finance have come to some conclusions about the crypto space that are similar to the way I view things. Not that I, nor they, necessarily think we know how things will unfold or what the crypto landscape will look like in a couple decades. But rather, it's about how to think regarding analysis of the space. I'm talking about critical thinking. With a cryptocurrency like XRP, it's easy for unbiased people to do their own research and come to the conclusion there really is something to XRP, and it may be long-term viable and worth substantially more in the future. However, if holders of XRP or any crypto reach a point where they no longer consider any risks to the assets they hold, they ignore such crucial data to their own peril. The cryptocurrencies that survive the arduous journey of the asset class from nascent to mature will solve real problems for real people, which is why I keep saying utility matters and will win the day. Once upon a time, I was a blank slate too. In November of 2017, I jumped into crypto. I knew nothing. And I decided to just start researching the cryptos pretty well in order from, it ranked in market cap from 1 on down. And I researched dozens and dozens and dozens. And so as a result, it didn't take me long to come across XRP. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And after researching to some degree dozens of cryptocurrencies, I just kept going back and I was like, but this is the only one that does anything or might do something in the future. Because at that point, XRapid, which is now known as on-demand liquidity, XRapid was like in beta, I guess you would call it. So like it technically worked. It was functionally proving that it worked, and it was moving real money around the planet, but just in like a kind of like a pilot mode effectively. And so it was doing it though still. And I was like, well, this is pretty much the only crypto I found that's actually useful to humans today. And that just blew my mind. And I recognized that it could only, the problem they were solving, that Ripple was solving utilizing XRP as a bridge currency, could only be solved if you had a decentralized cryptocurrency with an open market price that was also technologically sufficient. So I wanted to research. I was like, okay, are there any holes in the plot here? Are there any reasons that it doesn't make sense to think this will be adopted? And I haven't found any. Like even to this point, if XRP fails as a bridge currency, it will likely be because of something that nobody's even conceived yet. And I just don't see that happening yet. As long as there's one use case for a cryptocurrency, even that's enough for it to stick around because that represents value, right? And so again, it's more so looking at the big picture. Is a cryptocurrency solving real problems for real people? And so that's the reason I wanted to cover part of this article from the Daily Hodl. This is titled, "Is Ethereum the Superior Bet? Here's why Raoul Pal changed his mind about Bitcoin." And so Raoul Pal, I'm a big fan of this guy. He is a former Goldman Sachs executive. He is the founder of Real Vision, which is an awesome platform that talks about finance and heavy on crypto content. And he's just an open-minded, honest individual. He's not tribal in the least. He happens to be pro-XRP. He happens to have bought into XRP. And he said, even when I think XRP is around the $1 level, he said that he thinks it's an easy, not easy necessarily, but he thinks that it could be just a tenfold increase from there. And so he placed his bet, and he's an XRP holder. And that was despite a lot of his Bitcoin followers screaming at him from the rooftops, no, you know, and I've covered that on the channel before. And so I think he's publicly stated that Ethereum is his largest crypto holding. Okay, well, mine happens to be XRP. So what? It doesn't matter. I don't need people to agree with me or to have their holdings in line with me. I'm not a tribal individual. That's why I said, and I do mean it. If XRP stops making sense as an investment, I'm getting the hell out. Like, I will say it on this channel, but that's not what it looks like in the least to me right now. But anyway, the reason I'm highlighting this is because even though he's heaviest on Ethereum, it's not about necessarily completely coming to the same conclusion. It's about how he's thinking through this. So check out part of what was stated here. Here the piece reads, the former Goldman Sachs executive says that a narrative switch-up is occurring amongst institutions whereby Bitcoin is no longer the only crypto asset being taken seriously. And so, folks, he jumped in with Bitcoin first, as many people did, and he's changed his mind. He's not against Bitcoin, and I'm not either, by the way. But he does seem to think, it seems like it's somewhat in line with what I say, which is that utility matters and will win the day. And so with the people that he's speaking to on the institutional side, it's no longer just about Bitcoin. And so I ask you, what's the landscape going to look like if you fast forward another 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Well, all these crap coins that don't do anything aren't going to be around. And I'm not convinced that Bitcoin will be #1 in market cap forever, because the only way that's going to happen is if the use case of store of value is the biggest problem that can be solved, and the most money flows into that. And not only that, Bitcoin has to be the solution for that store of value to that degree when it comes to the crypto asset class specifically. Because otherwise, other cryptocurrencies can be used as store of value. I'm sure you guys understand that to this point, right? So, unless Bitcoin is actually going to reserve that status, I don't know. But then you start to think, okay, if you're jumping into this space and you see other cryptocurrencies doing stuff and solving real problems for real people, and you just want to diversify and you want to store value, why wouldn't you just go to those? Because you got that extra backing of like, well, yeah, isn't it more reasonable? Isn't it reasonable to be more confident in XRP, for example, because businesses do need it? Or does it make more sense to say Bitcoin's always going to be a good store of value because reasons? And so I don't have a firm answer in that, and that's not me being anti-Bitcoin. This is me engaging in critical thinking, admitting I don't have the answer, but just saying it's possible Bitcoin could be around and grow and just be way up there in market cap. Maybe it is #1 forever. We'll see. But even if it's not #1 forever, is it going to be around forever? Is it going to? Well, it's possible because standards matter to people, and I understand that too. But I'm just wondering, with the nascency of this asset class, look, here's the thing, and I'm just going to be honest with you. From a logical perspective, XRP makes a lot more sense to me than Bitcoin because it's solving real problems today. Now, the landscape can change. Maybe you get Lightning Network up and running and Bitcoin's used to solve problems, and in which case I'll acknowledge that if that happens and say, okay, now I'm that much more confident in Bitcoin. And I'll talk about that on this channel too. I'm just being intellectually honest. That's all I'm doing here. But without real world adoption, I'm like, what the hell is the safe bet here? That's why I keep saying utility, utility, utility. And so here's the quote from Raoul Pal. Literally every other day, I'm speaking to the world's largest financial institutions who put me in front of their investment committees and talk them through crypto and how to invest. And the narrative change really surprised me. It was always Bitcoin. Can we put Bitcoin on our balance sheet? How should we invest in Bitcoin? What's the diversification? Move very quick to, look, Ethereum feels it's a technology play that makes sense with the applications. We are interested in DeFi, etc. Then it very quickly became, oh, S-word, how do we get involved in Web 3.0? And so let me just pause to note here. I would be a lot more confident in Ethereum, which I've been holding since November 2017, by the way. Ethereum actually was my first cryptocurrency purchase ever. I bought Ethereum, then Litecoin, then Bitcoin, then XRP in that order. And because I was just learning, I was getting my feet wet, I wanted to experience what it was, and so anyway. But here, the firms they're looking at, so they must have some sort of confidence that Ethereum is going to scale. That's one of my biggest concerns. Is it actually going to scale? For Bitcoin, scaling seems to be less important if it's literally just going to be a store of value, then it doesn't need to advance technologically. Ethereum, you got a problem. You got a problem unless they can actually fix it. And then you've got XRP. XRP is so amazing because it just works. You don't need to improve it technologically for it to do all the stuff it's doing today. And you can have sidechains and all sorts of stuff we talked about on this channel, which David Schwartz, Ripple CTO, co-creator of the XRP Ledger, has been very vocal about to build that out. Flare Networks is working, to build out their ecosystem, which so you can use XRP in conjunction with it for smart contract purposes. So there's all sorts of stuff that you can do on chains that are separate from XRP to complement it. But on a base layer, like, you don't need XRP to have any additional attributes for it to be incredible at what it's incredible at, which is payments, right? It just works. You can't say that about Ethereum, and you can't say it about Bitcoin unless you're okay with the concept of it only being a store of value, in which case, yeah, it's fine. It's slow, but it works. It's very slow and it's costly, but it works. Okay. Okay, fine. So all of these companies that are looking at this, and this is their perspective, we want to diversify, not just Bitcoin, cool. Where do you think, what conclusion do you think they're going to come here? Look, we were here first, folks. We figured it out sooner than almost every other human on the planet, and the crypto space is going to be way, way, way bigger in the future than it is today. What do you think is going to happen as they figure this out? And don't blame them for not being there yet. Yeah, XRP, look, it's been around for the better part of a decade, I know. But when it comes to institutional investors, like a lot of them, it's just like, okay, let's dip toes in the water, seeing how it goes. And they're getting, there's more history now. That's another, by the way, that's another key thing. Letting time pass. I can't tell you how important that is. It's not just looking at it. The more time passes, the more clear it comes that the crypto asset class is here to stay. So even if we're betting on all the wrong horses, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP, pick whatever you hold. Even if you're betting on all the wrong horses, maybe you hold dozens of coins, maybe they all go to zero. The point is, there's utility to be had with this, so the asset class persists. And so what we're seeing as time passes is the direction in which the asset class is going, which is up despite massive pullbacks in multi-year bear markets. It's still way up, up and right. And so in terms of individual cryptocurrencies, well, they're going to figure that out in time too, don't you think? I mean, I sure as hell do. That's why I'm thrilled to just be here first. And if we see a huge spike in XRP price before utility actually matters to the market, which I actually think is going to happen, then fine, maybe I sell a bunch of it or all of it. Great. And if it's enough that it changes my life, great. And it doesn't mean that I'm anti-XRP if that happens, just to be super duper clear, because there's a good chance you'll hear me saying that. Don't you dare say that I'm anti-XRP. I am long XRP in terms of long-term viability, but I will need to adjust my exposure to it at that point in time if it becomes too big a percentage of overall net worth. That's all that it will be. But then if it craters back down in price, as I would expect it would if it ramps up like a hockey stick on a hockey stick chart, well yeah, then I'd buy back in too. But that's the direction all this is going. So again, with the markets being down today, I just wanted to emphasize, I know what I hold. I'm not the least bit worried. I'm not the least bit concerned. I will be concerned if we're at a stage where utility matters and XRP ends up losing utility. I will be extremely alarmed if that happens. But if it doesn't happen, if it goes in the opposite direction, which is from that, which is where it's headed now, which is up, yeah, then I think it has a serious chance of being around for decades or much, much longer, perhaps. It's so early in the game, nobody can know. I just wish there were more intellectually honest people like Raoul Pal who are just doing their best to look at with the information available and figure it out. And that's why I get tired of listening to Bitcoin maxes. Bitcoin, nothing else. One size fits all. Like, no, that's not rational. You're ideological. You got heavy Bitcoin bags. You've been here for a decade. Some of them, these people, and it's just Bitcoin. That's just not intellectually honest. Or unless they've been in the Bitcoin echo chamber for so long that they actually start to believe their own crap that's spewing out of their mouths. Maybe that's true. But for a lot of them, I'm kind of questioning it. It just doesn't make logical sense. Try plugging in Bitcoin into on-demand liquidity and see what the hell happens. You're going to have a disaster of a train wreck. You could do it. You could plug Bitcoin into on-demand liquidity. Ripple could do that, but that would add friction. Costs would go up. Transaction time would increase. Would not be good. It's not a one-size-fits-all world here, folks. And so it's just good to see other people out there, even if it's Raoul Pal talking about, in this case, Ethereum, just saying, okay, where's the money going? Institutional money starting to recognize it's not just Bitcoin, talking about Web 3.0, which is basically just the existing web except for decentralized. That's what Web 3.0 is. So there's Web 1, which is the original internet. Then there's Web 2 with the idea of interaction, social media, all that type of stuff. That's what's considered Web 2. And then you got Web 3, which is basically the existing web except for decentralized, which for the purposes of sharing ideas and content, a lot of that sounds very appealing to me, the concept, because I'm not a big fan of censorship, to be honest with you. So we'll see where that goes. We don't really have it yet, but that's something that's being built out. And so investors are looking at that as well. See, that's smart. And if there are coins that are a part of ecosystems, blockchains that make that happen, yeah, you better believe money's going to pour into that too. Sure. Why the hell wouldn't it? And so that's what Raoul Pal's looking at. And again, I'd be more confident if I believed that there was strong evidence that scaling weren't going to be an issue, because it's already a leader in terms of, it's the largest altcoin by market cap on the planet, and still, as impressive as that is, they're not taking away from it, it's still only $314 billion market cap. And given how small the asset class is, that could be way bigger too. So again, I'm pro crypto in general. It's not a one size fits all thing here. I just wish more people would be willing to think like that. And also again, on days like this when price is down, so what? Who the hell cares? I've been through this for over 4 years. It just doesn't matter. The market's in fear. At some unknown point in the future, the market will be in extreme greed again. I'm not going to get shaken out because people are emotionally selling right now.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.